Holosky Podcast Listener Experience Edition. We are your hosts. I'm Steven.
And Kyle.
And it's Thursday, Hollow Cult, and we are back with the Listener Experience Show. We've taken a little hiatus on these kind of at the beginning of the year. Now we're trying to get our bearings about us and kind of get back in the whole flow of things. So if you've submitted and haven't heard your experience yet, don't fret. We're getting our shit figured out, kind of, as best as we can, which is sometimes good.
It's always questionable.
We're trying our best.
Yeah.
But be sure to keep submitting them. Keep submitting them. So that being said, check us out on our socials: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Discord, Twitter, Reddit, all that stuff.
The spots.
Yeah. Search up the Holosky Podcast and we will be there. You can come and hang out with us, join the community, be part of the cult. It's a good time. It is a good time. And it's Thursday, so you're already almost through the work week. So it's definitely a good time. If you have a paranormal experience you'd like to submit for us to feature on a future episode of this very show, Kyle has the deets.
I do. It's easy. It's always in the show notes every day, every episode, because we are responsible and we always put it in there. So there's that. But it's also going to be holoskypodcast@gmail.com. Write it down, take a picture, record it, use it, write your story out, shoot it over to us, put it in the patented filing system. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Well, bam, get it on the episode, and then you'll be famous.
You will be famous.
Absolutely famous. And this week, I'll do it on a regular show.
Psych.
Never mind. I'm doing a regular show.
He psyched you out.
I did psych you out. That was my bad.
So you're going to have to listen to the regular show to get the tidbit that didn't happen.
Yeah.
If you'd like to support the show, plenty of ways you can do it. We got a Patreon, $7 a month. You can go over there and pop onto that, get extra episodes, get early drop episodes, ad-free episodes, casket breath jams, early access to merch drops, merch coupons, all that good stuff. holoskypodcast.com. You can go over there and check the merch out. T-shirts, hats, trucker hats, other hats, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff. Best thing you can do is share the show word of mouth. Just keep manifesting Holosky out there as much as possible. Throw us in the hat for anybody that listens to paranormal podcasts, spooky podcasts. Keep throwing our name out there. Keep the cult growing. Throw our name out to any other like-minded individuals that are content creators, and maybe we can link up if we can get our schedules worked out. Also, check the YouTube out. Go over there, subscribe, turn the notifications on. Come and hang out with us on Wednesday nights. And if you can't on Wednesdays, you can go over there and watch us, our faces, literally say these words that you're listening to. It's pretty cool. Technology is pretty fly. That being said, we're gonna jump right into our listener experience of the week. This week comes to us from our friend Dean. Dean titles it "Time Slip Displacement." Dean says, "Hey guys, love the podcast, but I have a story for you that I can't explain. I'll let you know as much detail as I can remember. Also, I've changed my friend's name as he doesn't like talking about this." Okay, so we have Dean and the anonymous friend. All right, here we go. "I got discharged from the military in January of 2005. This is important because the incident occurred in April of 2005. I'm from a little town about 45 minutes north of Seattle, Washington, called Bothell. My grandmother lived in Kenmore, Washington. At the time, I was living in Vancouver, Washington after my discharge, which is on the border of Washington and Oregon. Anyway, I decided on a Thursday that I was going to drive 3 hours to see my grandmother, help her out with some things. My friend Pat, who was off the weekend, went with me. I was driving a 1994 Honda Civic at the time, and gas was cheap. To get there, you would normally take I-5 north and follow it to Renton, where it continues, or you can break off the I-405 north. Well, Pat had never been to Pike Place Market, so we decided to stay on I-5 then. When the time came to head east on 520 into Kenmore, it was only about an hour or so extra and not that big of a deal. Well, we got out of Seattle on the north side of I-5 and cut through Lake City to 522 north. Well, I had to get gas and I see a sign that says Grace, 5 miles. I'd known about Grace and figured, okay, we're only about 30 minutes away, so let me just get gas here. Now, Grace, Washington is a little township of a city called Woodinville. It's right off the 405. Please remember this, as we were traveling on the 522 northbound. We were west of where Grace should have been. But as I'm driving and chilling with Pat, it doesn't register as odd to me. It was just like driving around with friends from high school, only we had a clear destination. Anyway, at this time, the place I experienced as Grace was a large diner, corner store, and gas station with only two 1950-style gas pumps. There was no option to pay with a card, so you had to go in and pay at the store. In front of us was a white house, but on the other side of the street, and also only a 2-lane road. I pull up to the gas pump and start feeling weird. Not sick, just weird. And being military, I know not to ignore what I'm feeling. So I tell Pat I'll be right back and to stay in the car. When I walk into the store/restaurant, I see an older lady behind the counter, probably in her 50s, and one guy drinking coffee at the far end of the diner. And then the cashier that I was interacting with to get gas. I give them a $20 bill and he nodded. So I walked out back to my car. This pump was the kind where you had to remove the nozzle and then lift the lever to begin pumping. It didn't have a digital display, but instead what looked like black metal flags with numbers on them that would flap and switch as the numbers increased. As I'm pumping the gas, I don't notice a cop car pull up behind me, but instead a cop that I can only describe as looking like Boss Hogg in a similar uniform as the sheriff with one of the cop cowboy hats as I'm pumping gas, and he says to me, "You aren't from here, are you?" And I said, "No, I'm just getting gas on my way to my grandma's house." He nods and then says, "Okay, well, they don't like strangers here, so I'm going to have to ask you to leave." This is weird. I glance at the diner, and there are at least 10 to 12 faces I can see clearly staring at me through the windows. All of them had black eyes and expressionless faces. At this point, I put around 13 of my 20 in my tank and just nodded my head. I get in the car and tell Pat we're back on our way and to keep his eyes forward. I noticed he was holding onto the handle above the door, white knuckle tight. I see the cop get back into his car, and he follows me out of town for about 5 miles, where he then positions his car across both lanes and watches me drive off. At this point, I noticed that the police car had an old school bubble light on top. My friend then spoke after we were far enough away and asked if I'd seen the faces in the house. I went flush and I told him no, that I wasn't focused on, or that I was focused on the faces in the diner. He told me he counted 8 watching us, with the same blackened eyes and expressionless faces. He felt unsafe and unsettled, which is why he grabbed the handle above the door, apparently locking his door as well. That's it, guys. That's my experience. But to give it one more factor of weird, I've driven the same route to my grandmother's easily 200 times since. Same turns, same highways, everything the same. And I have never again found the town where it was that day. Driving north on the 405, you can easily get to a town called Grace, but it's nothing like I'd experienced. For the life of me, I can't explain it at all. Most people don't believe my claims because Pat refuses to discuss it. He refuses to discuss it, so he doesn't back up the story. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Feel free to use this on the pod and use my real name. Just please change my friend's name. Thanks, guys. Dean. Dean, first off, thanks for submitting your personal experience, listener encounter here. Definitely strange.
Awesome story.
Yeah, definitely strange. I feel like we've come across similar encounters, or I have similar encounters, like in investigating like paranormal claims, like reading books and stuff, of people coming across. Usually it's just like a specific building, like they'll come across a diner or something that's out of place, or a gas station that's out of place, or a hotel that's out of place, and they'll interact with it, like stay there overnight or get gas or eat the food there. And it had such a peculiar, like out of place vibe to it that it stuck out to them. Then when they come back through, the place will be gone. It'll be non-existent. So I don't know.
Like, I want to start off by saying that there are places out there that build this ambiance for attraction, right? So I'm sure that's where a lot of people's brains are initially going to go. That's where mine kind of went is, did you stumble across like an old-ish, sell point?
Tourist trap.
There you go, tourist trap. However, I don't think that's the case here at all. If I was you, I would do a couple things. Because I don't have this information. If you can remember the diner name, the gas station diner name, and did he kind of give it as Grace was the town that he pulled into?
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming, because the sign said Grace 5 miles.
Right.
So he pulled in, and I guess he assumed that was Grace.
Right. So what I would try to do is go and see if you can't find old pictures of Grace, to see if maybe you can find an old picture of this diner gas station.
Good call.
The other thing that's weird to me is how the cop pulls up behind you and he says, they don't like strangers here. To me, that tells me that the cop, if all this is real and it's all time displacement scenario, the cop acknowledges the fact of the anomaly that happens from time to time, right? By him saying they don't like strangers, because if it's a drastic time change, you have to, like, the cop has to acknowledge just the pure difference in vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
And the way that a person dresses, the way they cut their hair, their facial hair. It's all different from even 30 years ago, right? Let alone way back whenever they had flip style gas pumps and shit like that. And then you're gonna take into account for all these black-eyed people. That's crazy.
It's creepy.
It's definitely creepy. Like, it gives you, it kind of really does give you almost like a fucking demonic tour trap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's a truly bizarre story, and ironically enough, that Steve picks this, I'm kind of digging around into.
Oh, that is weird.
A time displacement story that may very well go into this thing. So pay attention to our upcoming episodes, because I feel like this is spot on to where what I'm getting into, that direction, because it talks about time experiments and time kidnappings, all types of these scenarios that may very well link with this story.
I never thought about time kidnappings, but that sucks.
I don't know. It sounds crazy, but I'm here for the crazy. I love the crazy. The more wild, the better. And like, honestly, my memory isn't the greatest, but this has got to be one of the cooler submissions we've gotten. Like, the story is wild.
And
I just love the idea that these little, like, fissures in time exist out there.
And the fact that he has someone to corroborate it, even if the friend doesn't like talking about it, it states something. It says something happened. I'm curious as to, like, I got questions too. Kyle threw out some good ones there. Like, what was the name of the diner? Can you remember it? Do you remember how much the gas was?
Ooh, good
because
call.
if it's a time thing, gas is going to be significantly cheaper. Because I was wondering if he only got $13 of the 20 in, was it because his tank topped off at 13, or did he just pack up and bounce?
Yeah.
It's also strange to me that when you went in to interact with the people in the gas station diner, you didn't notice that they had black eyes, right? I don't think that he noticed.
No, he didn't say that.
Until he was already out.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre.
But is it though?
It's almost like they were putting on like trying to fake him out.
It could have been like a facade.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But what if and this is more of like the story side of me coming out, like what if it is kind of like a form of purgatory, if you will, because your one interaction was the guy behind the counter. What if that was like a normal person and he's essentially serving lesser or higher entities?
That's weird too.
Right. Like, and I realize and acknowledge that this is like more of a story side coming out in me, because I listen to a lot of story podcasts, and actually there's been stories that dance this line. It's not the same story by any means, but there is kind of subtle connections in storytelling that I've heard. But I don't know, like I really, really, really enjoy this story, and I wish there was more to it, to be honest with you. And I do want to applaud real quick. I want to applaud how you trusted your gut, because even when the cop was like, they don't like strangers here, you didn't argue. Nothing. You just went, yep, okay.
Copy that, I'm out.
Got in the car and drove away.
Yeah. The other thing that sets off weird is that if it was a time slip, I would feel like the town would still be in the same geographical location.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's not is weird.
I don't know. I think time slip is like a lack of description for the encounter.
Yeah, if you were pulling into the place that is Grace now, and you had this encounter, I would say probably time slip. But the fact that you weren't anywhere like close to where Grace is now, it doesn't, like, the only thing that feels weird about the time is the aesthetic of what happened. You know, like the old police car and the old gas pump and stuff. That, I don't know, the whole scenario is weird. And the fact that everybody was looking at you all strange like that and stuff.
It's creepy.
I had just read a kind of similar encounter on the Strange Encounters Reddit, where a person, I want to think it was in Colorado, pulled into a town where the town itself wasn't different. It was normal, right? Like how it was supposed to be. But there was no one around anywhere. And all of it was probably like a 10 or 15 block town. And all of the stoplights were flashing red, just flashing like the power had been out. And the person said as he pulled in, he kept hearing like weird old jazz music playing throughout the town. Just something strange, like it was coming from somewhere. And then as he hit one of the stoplights, there was a butcher shop. And he said he turned and looked, and there was a person in a butcher's apron. And it looked like the person was locked into the butcher shop and was trying to get out. And he said that at that point, it had completely freaked him out because they were like actively trying to get out the door at the car. So he takes off, and he is also kind of followed. I don't think it was a police officer, but was followed by a truck that followed him out onto the interstate, also parked across both lanes, and watched him drive away.
Oh, that's weird. Strange,
right? Strange. If I find it, I'll try to share it and read it out. But yeah, it's bizarre. It's almost like he crossed into like a different plane of existence, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's like these little cracks, and like that's where I'm at. I'm not for whatever reason, I'm not really sold on time slip. I'm sold on like the idea of like it's cracks in dimension or time, or something, because the black eyes are what kind of got me.
Yeah, that's the
that doesn't say time slip to me. That says, because if it was a genuine time slip and you drive into Grace in a 2025 Toyota Camry, like you're gonna be sticking out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get a lot of reaction out of that. But the fact that, I don't know, like, to me, the way the whole thing played out tells me this isn't the first time it's happened there.
No, especially after what the cops said.
Yeah.
They don't like strangers here.
Yeah.
It's weird. It makes you wonder how many other people have slipped through the crack.
Dude, it's awesome.
Because
it's so cool to think about.
Yeah. Grace, Washington. Anybody been to Grace, Washington and got gas at a gas pump from the 1950s? Not even necessarily. It might not even be Grace, Washington, a place posing as Grace, Washington.
I just like the idea of these little cracks in time and space.
It really fractures my brain thinking about like time that way. Because if this is a time slip, right? Obviously the 1950s have already happened.
Mm-hmm.
So is it just continuously happening in the past? Or does it not exist anymore because it has passed?
I don't know, dude.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, it's way too complex for my brain right now.
It sucks because how
I mean, logically it's happening. Everything's happening at the same time, right? I think that's kind of how time in itself is described, as everything's happening.
It's not like linear like we think it is.
Yeah, it's
like
all,
there's a start and a stop.
Right, it's all happening right now. But like I said, the key clue to me is that everybody had black eyes. That
because they're stuck in the 1950s forever.
Well, I mean, maybe, but I don't know. It just feels
the fact that we
different.
can Marty McFly ourselves and find ourselves in the past. Like if time is happening all the time, continuously at the same time, I could go back to yesterday and find myself from yesterday.
Yeah.
What if yesterday me replaced me today and I don't know it?
I'd say it's possible.
It probably happened.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
That's scary.
Now, present me is stuck in the past, which now is past me from the time I said it.
Now you're just melting everybody's brain.
Yeah, I don't even know who I am right now.
Me either. Me either.
Oh, see what you've done, Dean.
And I also appreciate your name because it reminds me of Supernatural. So there's that.
Still haven't seen it.
It's so good.
I guess I gotta start watching.
First couple seasons are super good.
But yeah, see, this is the good stuff. This is the good stuff. Everybody keep submitting the weirdness.
Yeah, because Supernatural I think it more lines up with you and me. Good. Like we always hold true to Mulder and Scully because it's like the OG of the OG, but realistically, we're definitely more on like the Dean and Sam Winchester. Just two good old boys out there fucking up the paranormal.
Just trying our best.
Yeah.
Bastard sons.
Yeah. And Brother John would be like there's character for Brother John from Supernatural as well.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, it's good.
Maybe.
It's good. It's worth it.
Hell yeah. But Dean, thanks for submitting. We have no idea what this is.
No, it's awesome.
I'm gonna say time slip is probably the furthest from where I'm at with this.
I'm with you. I'm not vibing the time slip.
It's alternate something.
Yeah.
Displacement's weird. Alternate. I don't know. It's weird. Glad you made it out, bud.
So, for sure.
We appreciate you taking the time to submit it in, send it in. That's dope. So yeah, Hollow Cult. Let's keep the weirdness flowing. Now that we're back on it, back on the grind. And check us out on all our socials. You know the drill. You're almost to the end of the work week. Till we meet again. Stay safe, stay weird, and if anybody has traveled into not Grace, Washington, hit us up. Let us know if there's more going on here than just with what happened to Dean.